why is it that I can't watch Minx anymore, and now I have to get Stars in order to watch this show? I don't want Stars. I can't even find it on a pirate platform because it's gone. I don't know how they did that, but it's gone now. So guys, when you see a show that you like and you see the DVD box set on Target, spend the $30 and just get it. All right, please. I know that computers don't have DVD ROMs anymore. We can figure something out. All right, that's all I ask.
PlayStation. Do you own a PlayStation?
I own an
There you go.
Xbox.
Well, I'm talking to. Does that? I mean, Xbox plays DVDs, don't they?
Oh yeah, they
I'm pretty
do.
sure they.
Yeah, yeah,
Pretty
yeah.
sure they do. So if you are a console gamer, there you go. Yeah, my co-host is getting rid of. He's digitizing his entire library,
Honestly, that's
and
really
he
smart.
has. It is, but then he's getting rid of his DVDs. He's in a decluttering phase of his life right now.
Got it.
So I was like, so what are you gonna do with him? He's like, I was gonna donate him to the library. I'm like, fuck the library. I'm like, let me have a first dibs. So then he saw how many I was taking, and I was like, I looked at him, I saw the look in his eye. I was like, all right, I'll throw you some dollars if you want for this. He's like, all right, we'll figure it out after you take everything.
That's so funny. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm totally physical media. But anyway, Silence of the Lambs.
Silence of the Lambs. Silence of the Lambs. When I first watched this movie, I didn't know it was a horror movie, to be honest. I just thought it was like a procedural film because that's just kind of like how it opens. Because when you see a horror movie, you know it from the jump. There's the music. There is, I mean, if you ever watch Scream, there's a phone call. There is the dreams, if you've ever seen Nightmare on Elm Street. There are a lot of calling cards when it comes to horror films. And Silence of the Lambs, even though it's a horror movie, it is unlike any other horror movie anyone's ever seen, especially for me. And I think that's what I love the most about it because it's horror, it's thriller, but it also has this psychological depth to it that wasn't very common in the movies that were being released at that time. And also Anthony Hopkins, who is a phenomenal actor, kills it as Dr. Hannibal Lecter in this game of cat and mouse that we were watching. Um, so Lee, what are some of your favorite things about Silence of the Lambs? What do you love the most about this movie? What are things you like? Things that stand out to you, all that stuff.
I'm a big Jodie Foster fan.
Mm-hmm. Same.
Um, I think the story of how she got the role. I mean, she campaigned. Jonathan Demme didn't want her.
Oh.
I'm blanking now on who he was trying to get, but she had to fight tooth and nail for that
Mm-hmm.
role,
Oh.
and it's amazing that she did because when I watch Julianne Moore take over that role for her in Hannibal, it's just like I want to like this. I want to suspend my disbelief. I can't do it. Jodie
Mm-hmm.
Foster is Clarice Starling.
Yeah.
Um, and it was, I mean, she is one of those child actors. I mean, you brought up Haley. I always want to say Halle Berry, but it's Haley Bailey.
Yeah, I know. It's so
Halle,
similar.
Halle Bailey.
Yeah.
Halle Bailey. Sure.
Hallie, yeah.
Um, yeah, she's one of the. Jodie Foster was a child actress,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, we've seen so many child actresses and child actors just go the wrong way.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is watch a handful of interviews from when Jodie was young to when she was, in her 20s to her 30s.
Mm-hmm.
And even now, I mean, the woman has her head on straight,
Mm-hmm.
and she kept her head on straight throughout the fame.
Mm-hmm.
But, her aside.
If you enjoy watching these highlights, subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications so you know when a new video is uploaded.
I mean, the film is it just lulls me in. I don't know. I'm stumbling on my words now here. It's true crime, which
Yeah.
I am an unfortunate fan of. I watch way too much. I watch way too much crime documentary.
Yeah, I feel that.
It's getting in my head. Actually, I need to get a Ring camera. But yeah, my wife and I watch it all the time, and this movie, you were saying it's a horror, and it is. It's categorized, genre is horror, but in 1991, this blew everybody's, ass off because it was this psychological thriller with elements of horror to it,
Hmm.
and it's just so. And I'm stumbling now. Why did we come on this show, Lee? We came on to talk about Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah. I do want
I
to
think. Go
say
ahead.
I do agree with you in that it's a lot like true crime, because when you're watching true crime documentaries, they always start off very calmly. They always start off with like the domestic background. Of course, they'll paint the picture of like what we're here to discuss, whether it be the Murdaugh family, Chris Watts, whatever is the subject of the true crime documentary. And with Silence of the Lambs, it does start off very gently. It starts off very calmly in contrast to other horror films, because horror films will start off with the kills, and then it starts off in suburbia and with the group of teens that we're following in their lives, like what's going on with them, or the single white female, and like what's going on with her in her life, and like blah blah blah, all these things. And with Silence of the Lambs, we open up the scene with Jodie at the Quantico and her
Any ground?
doing her
Yeah.
training. And then she meets.
But she's all alone. But she's all alone out in the
She's
woods.
all alone.
She's already vulnerable. Like
Yes.
the first moment you see her, but she's trying to be a badass.
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
And that's another thing that is interesting to me, how the film takes these calling cards in horror films and kind of turns it on its head. You have this woman running alone in the woods. You have that in a typical horror movie. She's running away from the monster. But in this film, she's just running just generally because she's just doing a training exercise. And then, we meet Jack Quaid, I believe it is. No, Jack Crawford. Crawford. Jack Quaid is an actor. Do we meet Jack Crawford, who is the FBI director, and he is telling her about Hannibal Lecter, you know, and this is her first introduction to the character. And in a horror movie, introduction to the character is the killing, and in this movie, the introduction is learning about the character, telling us who this character is, Hannibal the cannibal, and what they're in for, and then we learn what they are, which is a monster. And then you meet Dr. Lecter, and he's just kind of this creepy guy who's sitting super rigid in a cell and just staring at you with his piercing eyes. And of
That
course,
first that first shot of him, that like
yes,
tracking point of view shot, and he's got his arms behind his
just
back and he's
expecting
just
her,
stand.
just waiting.
Oh, it's so fucking good.
So creepy.
So good.
It's so weird because it's such a contrast to the other people that are in the cells in the same floor as him. And then there he is, seemingly the worst of them. And he's so calm and collected and just like together, but he's just staring at her. Like his piercing blue eyes just staring directly into her soul and staring at us, really, staring at the audience. And it's so off putting and so disturbing
He
because,
doesn't
like,
he doesn't blink
unless he
in
needs
that
to.
like no, he doesn't blink in that movie.
Yeah.
There's no shot of him blinking in that movie.
Well, he does. There is the shot where she has her credentials and she holds it to glass and he's like, come closer, and he's staring at her and she's staring at him, and he blinks just for a second, but that's when he like blinks to break character. That's what I say it is,
Uh, oh,
because
right.
yeah. And I would just say that because everything he does is very intentional. He's a very manipulative person. He's a cannibalistic serial killer and also a psychiatrist. So he understands how the mind works, and he himself has a mind that psychiatrists want to study. Since you're at the end of the video, don't forget to like the video and leave a comment down below. If you want early access to these highlights, join our Patreon. Patrons have access to our entire archive, including full-length videos. Patrons also have the opportunity to choose a topic for our podcast, and they get the opportunity to be a guest. Join now.